Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Everything is about purpose, one of our topics today. We're so excited to have our friend here. Andrea is talking today, well, in regards to the work she does. I'll have her introduce you. Remind us a little bit about what you do to start.
Sure. I support moms who are yearning for more out of life, but they might not know how to get there. So I believe that one of the reasons so many of us feel like something is missing is because we're just not living true to our authentic nature. And so I want to change that by guiding moms back to their authentic selves, because when moms are empowered to live authentically, not only do their lives improve, but they can create the difference in the world that they are here to be. So
Ooh.
as an empowerment coach, I reflect to my clients the patterns holding them back from living their best feeling, most authentic and purposeful life. And as an energy healer, I help my clients release the blocks behind those patterns, which allow their authentic selves to shine through.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you.
Mhm.
And just tell us off the top how we can reach out to you, please.
I would love to. My website is Andree with two E's.com. So ANDREA.com. And there you will find my email, hello@andreaandree.com, and phone number 608-338-3749.
Perfect. Well, thank you for being here and joining us
Thank you
today.
for
So,
having me.
you say what you've come to understand about this thing we all called, in Chase is purpose
Yeah,
in
yep.
life, right? So let's talk about
That's
that and
right.
some of the lessons maybe that you've learned and explored, your own purpose. So, before we start,
Yes,
do you want to
yep,
tell us a little bit about your purpose here in life as a
yep.
mom, as a coach, as a
Yes.
human being on this
I would
planet?
love to.
Thank
Yes, I
you.
would love to. And as I do that too, I just want to share that I feel like it's continuously evolving and refining, because as we'll learn, we get bits and pieces all of the time that come in. And so I just when I think of my topics for these episodes, I channel them and I just say, what is the topic that will be of highest service to whoever is going to hear this? And this was the topic that came in. So I want to share what I have learned about this quote unquote thing we call purpose, just to be in service to whoever might hear this and maybe take some of the pressure off. So I see purpose, we have a being and a doing. And so I think a lot of us equate purpose to like a job that we do. But one of the things that I believe I'm here to do as my purpose at this time is to actually embody what it looks like to live as my highest, most authentic potential. So we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So how can I align my life to what that spiritual being is here to do? Not necessarily the human part of me who lives in fear and all of the human things that we play in. And so from that being, from that embodiment of being my most authentic self, then I can guide others how to do the same by releasing what no longer serves them and allowing them and teaching them to plug into that which does. And so that was a big way of saying that I feel like at this point anyway, my purpose is to live authentically as much as I can and guide others how to do the same.
Beautifully. You got me thinking. I never really thought
Yeah.
about my purpose. I feel like my purpose is to
Yep.
be a mom, but it's more
Yep.
to that. I mean, I love being a mom, but also for
Mm-hmm.
myself. What do I enjoy? I
Exactly.
enjoy my work. I love people. I love
Yes.
meeting people. My purpose is, I think, just to be nice to people and make friends and like just I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You got me thinking on that one. But anyway, it
Yep.
doesn't matter what my purpose is. But everyone at home, think about what your purpose is as
There
well.
we go.
And it can definitely relate to, maybe what you want and you need some help, guiding, because maybe you feel like
Absolutely.
you're not where you're supposed to be. Hence, you are
Mm-hmm.
here, right?
That's
All right. So
right.
we're going to talk about some myths as
Mm-hmm.
well, right? Explain
Mm-hmm.
that because you want to explain this to our listeners, what, their
I
purpose
do.
is too. How does it go?
Yes. Yep. So these are my myths. So as I've gone through my own journey of expecting this purpose to just be put down in front of me on a silver platter, I've learned that's not how it works. And so I want to deconstruct what I have learned, because I feel like I had a lot of pressure on. I got to figure out what it is I'm here to do. And there is some element of that, because I do think that there is a life that we are here to live, but I want to take some of the pressure off. And so these are some of the myths that I have come up with, just to do that, hopefully to make this whole thing a little bit lighter for everybody. So myth number one I wanted to share is that our purpose is something that we are here to do. And so I know I was equating my purpose as like a job. So what is the job that I'm here to do? How am I here to make a difference on this world? And as I mentioned, I think one of the ways I see purpose is that there's a lot more of a being than a doing. And so Jill, you nailed it. It can be as simple as, I'm here to make people's days a little bit brighter. I'm here to, connect people and make those connections, here to share other people's stories. It doesn't have to be something that's big and, life-changing and saving the world for everybody. I do think that all of us are here to move into the highest versions of who we are meant to be, but that looks different for everybody. And in some cases, it could be, I am here to raise the next generation of humans. For others, it could be, I am here to save the whales, or I am here to, completely reconstruct the financial industry, whatever it might be. And so there's definitely a being here enjoying life, loving our kids, smelling the roses. It's all of those things can be purposeful in the moment. It doesn't have to be some big thing that we're doing all the time, because I don't think everyone is here to do big things, but I do think that we are all here to grow into who we are meant to be, the highest version, but also here to contribute in some small way to humanity, and whatever that is. But it's not just a job. It's much more than a job. And so that was what I wanted to get through in myth number one, is it's more than just, what is the thing that I'm here to do.
Well, let me think. It's funny because the first thing I said was, I said, "Oh, I love what I do." Okay, sorry. See, I don't have it down yet. Okay.
Nope.
Okay. All right. All
And
right.
again, this is just my perspective, and so your perspective could be totally different too. We all have our own sort of truths and perspectives to live the world.
All right. Thank you. So we have another myth you want to share?
Yeah. Myth number 2 is, if you think hard enough, you can figure it out. So one of the things, many of us have been trained to use logic and reasoning to try to shape our lives. And so the thing with our brains, though, when we try to think and we've got these pro-con lists and we look at what we've done so far, our brains are very biased on the past. They're biased on, this is what I've done so far. This is what scared me in the past. And so I'm going to avoid that thing because it was scary. And so our brains don't like to move us forward. For those reasons and many more. And our brains are not necessarily connected to our highest reasons for being here. And so I've actually learned to be led by my heart and intuition, and to take those steps that feel right, even though they don't make any sense to my brain, even though they're totally new. And because our hearts are really here, connected to our souls. They're here to lead us to those places that are bigger than what our brains can possibly imagine or understand for us. And so that would be myth number 2, is we're not going to figure this out by thinking. This really becomes an intuitive exercise.
Got it. Good to know. All right.
Yep.
Number 3.
Number 3. Yes. Number 3, if you meditate hard enough, your purpose will come to you. So if we're not doing this from our brains, then maybe it'll just drop to us. And I had joined a class in early 2020, Marilyn Aloria's class called Soul Finder Academy. And so I thought, by the end of 16 weeks, I'm going to find my soul and I'm going to know what my purpose is. And it's just going to be given to me if I just do enough meditation. But what I learned in that class is that is not how it works, unfortunately. So we're not just meditating hard enough and some being comes out of the sky and says, "Oh, and here you go, and there's what it is you're supposed to do." It's a journey and a process, and so there's breadcrumbs, and so you get a little glimpse here and a little glimpse there, and your intuition says, "Hey, maybe you should start this blog." And you say, "I don't know why I would start a blog, but I guess I'll start a blog." And it's because that's an important step of where you're going, but you don't have the full picture of where you're going. You're getting the breadcrumbs piece by piece. And so that for me, that was a big aha moment, was it's never just going to be given to us. We have to commit to the journey and commit to following the pieces, paying attention to the clues, and slowly over time, it will make sense. But there typically isn't one moment, at least in the beginning when you're doing the work, where it makes sense. You might get it later on, I'm starting to get bigger and bigger pieces now, but I've been doing the work for over 3 years, and I've been following the breadcrumbs to get to this point. So that's myth number 3 is follow the breadcrumbs.
And by the way, some of us have a lot of crumbs.
Yeah, I know.
It's true. It's true.
I love
But
it.
all right, we're going to move on to the next one then,
Yes.
which is number 4.
Myth number 4. Yes. So you can, for me, myth number 4, you can only feel purposeful if you are doing the thing. And so many of us have equated the way we feel to what we do. And so what I mean by that is, like, I might say, well, if my purpose is to be a speaker, let's just pretend my purpose is to be a speaker. I can't feel purposeful until the years and years, whenever in the future, when I am that speaker. Or a lot of us equate it to, I will be happy when, I'll be happy when I get those things. And so we've equated our feeling state to what we do, but that's actually backwards, because we can tap into a feeling at any time. And when we do that, we can actually draw to us the experiences that will positively reinforce that feeling. And so I got this from listening to Christy Whitman. She's one of the channelers that I like to listen to. She said for a month, she would just sit into, I want to know what passion and purpose feels like in my body. And she would just say, I call in the feeling of passion and purpose. And then after a month, she got this idea to write a book. And so the feeling came first. And so for me, my feelings that I'm calling in, I want to feel freedom and I want to feel creativity. So I want to have unique creative powers over whatever it is that I want to say and do and deliver in the world. And I can sit in that today. I can sit in meditation, sit in my quiet space, my Zen den, as I call it. And I can say, all right, I call in the feeling of freedom and I call in the feeling of creativity. And the more I can put that in my body, the more the outer world I will draw to me through the law of attraction, which I know we've talked about, situations which will then positively reinforce that. So we don't have to wait for the thing to show up in our lives in order to tap into the feeling which we are seeking. We're all seeking a feeling.
Got it. It's true. We really are. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
we all want to feel good. Why not?
That's right.
But
Yep.
let's make it positive, right? And stick with the
Yes,
positive. All right, good.
exactly.
Myth number 5, you can't make money doing your purpose work.
Yes. So I think this holds a
Yeah.
lot of people back, is the idea that we've all been sort of told, oh, you're a great artist, but you can't make money doing that. You should go into something else or whatever it is. And so the reality is we live in an energetic reality. And again, we draw to us situations that are based on the energy which we are emitting. So energy flows to us based on our vibration, based on how open we are to the outside being given to us. And in actuality, if you Google money is energy, you'll hear a lot of people talk about how money is really just it's a tangible representation of energy. And so the higher and higher your vibration gets and the more open you are to receiving, then the more you can actually do the thing that you're passionate about and expect to be remunerated for it. Because when you're passionate, you're expansive, you're high vibe, and that does help bring the money back to you. And so we've been living in this world where we thought we have to, work for the man and work hard and just do the things that we're told to do. But in this energetic reality, there's a different way. And so I would love people to just consider, and I know this is a really big idea for like a 2-minute explanation, and I've been on this money is energy journey for a number of years, but I would want people to just open up to the idea that perhaps, just perhaps, if we're doing our purpose work, if we're doing things that we are passionate about, that we can start to open up avenues to make money doing that.
Interesting. Thank you so much. And you know
Mm-hmm.
what? So work comes into play, for example, for me, I'm thinking about that. But yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
can make money with your purpose. Of course, it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like your own individual talent, where I say all the
Yep.
time, we all have something and
That's
everyone's
right.
different
Yes.
and unique, but why not? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yes, we can.
Yep.
We can. All right. Not all of us are artists, can paint work and whatever, but
Right.
it doesn't matter, whatever talent
Yep.
you have. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so do you have any other like maybe bonus tips for us?
I do. Oh man, Jill's reading the notes here. Um, You think we have secret eye contact, but
I know, I
we've
know.
we've
We look
exchanged looks.
down
Yes,
quick or to the left
that's
sometimes
right.
at the computer
Right.
screen.
This means bonus tip. Yes. Bonus tip. So this one was key for me. What to do if you don't have a passion? Because when I started, I was in the throes of early motherhood and just this career that was dragging me down, and I was not passionate about it at all. And I knew that there was a different lifestyle I wanted to have, and I knew that there was something different that I wanted to contribute, but I didn't know what that was. And there wasn't anything. They say that you, especially for those in the coaching or the teaching industry, you coach or you teach what you've overcome. And I was like, well, what have I overcome? There's nothing that I've overcome. And so I didn't have a passion. I didn't have anything that I'd necessarily overcome. And so I heard this podcast, Elizabeth Gilbert. She's the Eat, Pray, Love author. She was on with Oprah. And she said, throw out your passion. Don't follow your passion. Follow your curiosity. And I thought, oh, that was exactly what I needed in that time. Because again, no passion, wasn't sure what I was passionate about. But our intuition, that's one of the ways our intuition speaks to us, is through our curiosity. And so if there's this idea that we just can't get out of our heads, there's this something nagging at us that I want to know more, I'm curious about that. For me, I had never heard about energy, law of attraction, like very little about law of attraction, but nothing really about the energy behind law of attraction. But somehow there was this thing in my brain that said, I'm curious about energy. And the interesting thing about life and the breadcrumbs. So first of all, if you are looking for divine support and to use your intuition to start guiding you, you have to ask for it. So there's this law of non-intervention. Our divine support team cannot support us and give us information unless we open up and ask for it, because we all have free will. So once I opened up and said, all right, show me this, I'm curious to know what is it I'm here to do, then it was amazing. As soon as I said, I'm curious to know about energy, and I recognized that that was something I was curious about, I got this advertisement for this class on Mind Valley about energy. And so it showed up and I did it. I followed the breadcrumbs. So that's going back to following the breadcrumbs. So it's noticing. And so I continued to follow my curiosity. And then this concept of energy healing started coming in, and I wanted to know more about that. And so as I got into that, and then I knew I was on the right track because I was obsessed with it. I just wanted to know more and more. And in 2 in the morning when I couldn't sleep, I was reading books about energy healing. Early in the morning before the kids got up, I would get up and take classes and do online things. And so if you don't have a passion, or you don't know what your passion is, there is something there under the layers, but it's the journey of figuring out what it is. And so start with, what are you curious about? Or if you're already into something, like, what is that thing that you're obsessively learning about? Because I guarantee that there is something there for you.
And you said this in your notes originally, which relates, I
Mm-hmm.
remembered. So I just went back to peek. You said,
Yeah.
so many of us have been talked out of our dreams, yet there is a difference between the dreams in our hearts and the
Mm-hmm.
fear in our heads, and learning how to discern
Yes.
between the two, you say, will make
Mm-hmm.
the difference in how you move forward in life. That's,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay, cool.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. And so I think of it when we say spiritual beings having a human experience. To me, the spiritual being part is, it connects to our heart. That's our intuition. That's the part that's trying to lead us forward. The human experience part is, hey, we've got these thoughts and we've got these emotions, and many of us have been steeped in this energy of just false ideas, lack, limitation, fear, listening to other people over listening to ourselves. And so that's exactly it, is our brains have that sort of human experience element that again is based on our past, because it will remind us, once I got that hit to do the blog, it could have reminded me, hey, there was this one time that you wrote something and everybody hated it and they made fun of you, and you should never write again because of that past experience. And so our brain really wants to try to pull us back to the past and remind us of all of the things that were scary and that hurt us in the past. And that's why our brains are really not that great at pulling us into the future, because again, they're steeped in that fear and those thoughts and those emotions and those things that sort of weigh us down. And absolutely, our hearts, our intuition, our souls, like it's all the same thing. There's this other element that's trying to guide us forward somewhere different.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. All right, we still
Yeah.
have 10 minutes. What else do you want to share today, sweetheart? There's a lot to go over.
I know. I was hoping I would take more time talking. Um,
Yes.
but no, I was thinking about client examples, and this was one of the interesting ones that came in. And again, when I first had my clients a year ago, much of my business wasn't this evolved, and so I wasn't exactly sure how I was helping, and I didn't have the language around our authentic selves. But one of the things came in, so as I was working with her, she is a teacher and she also has some loved ones in her life. So she's not a mom herself, but she's got nieces and close friends that are kids that she um, is just really near and dear to her. And she worries about them as a mom would worry about them. She did. We worked on worry. But one of the things that came in for me, I believe, was one of her breadcrumbs, which was as we were talking and we were talking about the teens in her life and how many of them seem a little empty, a little disconnected. What came in for me that I offered to her, which felt good as a breadcrumb, was I could really see her as she goes down this work of tapping back into her spirituality, her authentic self, freeing herself from her own fears and healing from her own past experiences. I could see her doing something like that to kids as a teacher, because I think a lot of our kids are misunderstood. And to me, my perspective on that is that we're not supporting them in their authentic spiritual multidimensional ways, where again we're putting the human experience on them, which is separating them from their true expression as a spiritual being. And so that came in for me as an idea, was I feel like she could be here as she learns and grows more to offer that to the kids in her life, because she's already a teacher, she already has those avenues, and that could be one of the ways she contributes. Again, it doesn't have to be something that she drastically does different, but it could be a state of being, which is how can you support their authentic nature and allow that to express a little bit more. And so that was her breadcrumb. And so that was, I never really know when I'm in session with my clients what's going to come through, because some of what I do is a little channeled. But that was one of the things that came through for her, which I think was in service to her at that point. And so I just wanted to offer that too, that we're all part of each other's puzzle. We're all offering each other breadcrumbs all the time. That could be something that in client sessions that I offer as well. Again, I never know what's going to come through. It just kind of comes through as it does. And then I offer it to my clients. But I think we're all here to help each other with our own, we're all like full of puzzle pieces. And so Jill, I've probably given you a couple puzzle pieces to think about in terms of how things relate to your life, and you give me some, and then you get some from your other guests. And so we're all just trying to help each other out the best we can. So I
I
thought that was
love that.
a relative client example.
Absolutely is. You're right. It's true. And each and every day you really learn something new. My mom used to always say that
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Yep.
And then I was like a little brat. Not learn
Yep.
anything new in school. Nope, nope, nope.
Yep.
Now in hindsight, now we're here as
Oh
an
my gosh.
adult.
Yep.
We're learning really something new
Mm-hmm.
every day if you think about it. Yeah,
So
not
many
just the math
things.
and
Yeah.
science and stuff like that, but no,
Nope.
just about human behavior, about life, about
Mm-hmm.
other people, about ourselves every
Exactly.
day.
I
Yeah.
know. Sometimes
Yeah.
I ask, I'm like, can I just not get any learning this weekend? I'll just ask I'm like, can I just have a fun weekend? And then
And
we
then
can go back to the learning on Monday.
yeah, and then there's the I don't even know the statistics, but I remember I learned from someone else on another
Yep.
show a long time ago
Yep.
about how many thoughts a day run through our mind. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then out of those thoughts, most of them, again, I don't know the statistics here, are negative,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
self-limiting.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, which is not good.
That's the work I want to do, is I want to help people notice that, because
Yeah.
you can learn to tune in, but most of us don't tune in. We're just kind of running up here like a hamster in a wheel. I like to call it the drunk monkey. I don't know where I got that, but it's like the drunk monkey's just throwing poo all over your brain.
The drunk monkey. It's funny you said that.
Yeah.
This morning, when after the kids got up, I went downstairs and the barrel o' monkeys was all over the floor. Do you know what barrel o' monkeys are?
Uh-huh.
Funny you said that. Just weird, like connection.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the word monkeys talking about monkeys, and then I got these monkeys, orange monkeys all over my floor, like 40 of them. I was like, ah.
Yeah.
And you bring up the term, and I think it's part
Uh-huh.
of our divine connection
Yep,
and
exactly.
energy that's traveling around, right?
Uh-huh. If you hear monkeys one more time, I would tune in and say, all right, what's the message that monkeys are trying to give me?
Oh my gosh. All right. All right. What else do you have for us,
Yep.
hon? There's more to you and your services. Anything else you want to add?
Um, I don't, nothing is coming in. I guess I'll just go back to the website for now. AndreaAndree.com, AndreaAndree.com. And this is, I really feel like one of the best things we can each do is to start really questioning, who are we authentically? What are we here? How are we here to express? And again, it doesn't always have to be a job that we're doing, but just how are we here to express? Because I think that is one of the reasons of being on Earth, especially at this
Yep.
time,
Mhm.
is to move into the highest version of ourselves. So I like to think of Earth as an experiment where, and I've heard this analogy, where we're dropped into these bodies and we forget who we are. And then it's an experiment to see if we can all find our way back to who we are by following the breadcrumbs. So the breadcrumbs are there for all of us to lead us back to our highest and most authentic expression. And that's really what I want to help people do, is what is the painful part of the human experience that's not me, it's not aligned to who we are, and how can we tune in and tap in to the authentic part of ourselves. So that's my reason for being. Yes.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you for sharing. And
Thank
again, if
you.
we want to reach out to you one more time, tell us the best way and
Yes,
about your Facebook group as well.
that's right. So my website, AndreaAndree2es.com. And from there, there's a contact page. You'll find a link to, I have a Facebook group, Empowered Moms Club. So I share in there free tips for moms, a little bit just on what I'm going through and how I applied it. So you get a lot of stories about me in there. There's a link to my LinkedIn page, which I also share information there, and my email, hello@AndreaAndree.com.
Well, thank you so much. Looking forward to the next
Thank
time we get
you.
to speak, and we'll see you there
Me
on
too,
social
Jill.
media. And thanks for dispelling some of those myths today. And
Happy to do
thanks for
so.
teaching me something new.
Happy to
And
do
all
it, Jill.
of
Always
us.
a pleasure.
All right. Have
That's
a great
right.
day, hon. And
You
we'll talk
too.
soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.